Hi everyone, and welcome back to Writing Guy. Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to dive a little deeper into a personal story, one that might sound familiar to a lot of us. From the analytics, most of the viewers of my channel are men, and I think this would relate really deeply to some of you. It's a story of slipping into dependency and finding a way back. And for me, that story begins with the realization that I needed to drink to be able to work. Yeah, it sounds strange, but at the time it made perfect sense. It was my way of unlocking focus, creativity, and quite honestly, escape. I want to unpack that experience not just because of the sake of storytelling and the sake of writing content for this fountain pen channel, but because I believe it speaks to something a lot of us struggle with, using substances as a crutch to get through life, or worse, to function day to day. And I don't just want to talk about the problem, I want to share with you how I found a better way to cope, regain control, and ultimately build a life where I didn't need anything external to feel valued, to feel productive, and fulfilled. And before we begin, I would like to invite you to bookmark awritingguy.com. There you can find multiple writing instruments reviews, photos, articles with similar topics to the current one that we're listening to right now. And if you would like to support the channel, there's the shop. I also carry writing instruments and notebooks, and more products are coming up the shop very soon. Thank you for your support, and let's get back to the video. I will start with how it began for me, and I think a lot of you will relate. It was around 2019. It wasn't like one day I just decided to drink as a work strategy. It was more subtle than that. A glass of whiskey to unwind after a long day became a ritual, something I looked forward to. It relaxes me, and then little by little it became associated with getting into the right mindset to work. When we're faced with deadlines, stress, and the overwhelming pressure to perform, we search for shortcuts. I told myself it's just a glass, it's helping me. But soon it wasn't just a glass, it was 2, and then 3, and then half a bottle. Then it started to creep into the afternoon because I needed to work sooner and get a head start. And then it was a day at 8 o'clock in the morning. Instead of reaching for a bottle of water, I reached for a bottle of whiskey. I wasn't working, I was masking, and that's where the real problem lies. I wasn't facing with the actual source of the stress, the anxiety, or insecurity. I was numbing it. And my avoidant tendency started to get numbed, the harder it became to function without the crutch. The turning point for me, and I think this is true for many of us, came when I realized I couldn't actually perform without a drink. What had once been an aid became a necessity, and suddenly everything felt tied to that bottle. The problem wasn't longer about whether I was drinking too much. It was that I had to convince myself I needed alcohol to be able to work. I wasn't improving myself. I wasn't creating anything with real value. I was just getting by At worst, I was doing it in a way that wasn't sustainable. And that's the crux of the issue with substance dependency. It convinces you that you're operating at your best when really you're just barely breathing and existing. So, what's the alternative? How do we break the cycle? It wasn't easy, but it begins with a mindset shift. Instead of using something external to force productivity and to force something out, I think I needed to look at what it really means to create value. Here's where things got clear for me. The most meaningful work we do comes from a place of intention and purpose, not from trying to shortcut our way through it. When I was drinking, I wasn't setting any real goals for myself. I wasn't focused on long term or building something that mattered, like the website and the YouTube channel and Instagram and the kind of work that I want to put out to the world. I was just trying to get through the day, hit the next deadline, or avoid feeling overwhelmed. Once I realized that, I made a conscious decision to start moving away from that. Like, what kind of writing do I want to create? What kind of persons do I want to be? Those started to become the real questions. When I set goals around those things, everything changed. I had a reason to show up, to write every day, and all my actions didn't involve numbing myself with a drink. And that was the first step for me, and I think that's also the first step for anyone who's struggling with substance abuse. You have to find the reason why. Why are you still alive? And look at the people around you who are depending on you and who you are depending upon. Why do you want to succeed? And what kind of value do you want to create? When you answer those questions, you start to see that no amount of alcohol or any substances can help you achieve that. It's about doing 1% every day, showing up fully, be present as you are, even if you have scarred all over your body. But the goal is to commit to the last moment. When I started writing again with a pen, I set clear goals, and it became a roadmap and something I can look back to when I want to go forward. And when you know where you're going, you don't need alcohol or any other crutch to get there. In fact, those things will only slow you down. When you are thriving with work, you become so focused on the long game that you don't even feel like you have the time to down a shot whenever you're free. The moment, every single moment you're awake, you just want to keep doing at your goal, keep going at it. For me, the goal wasn't to get likes and shares. The goal was to produce writing that I could be proud of, work that wasn't tainted by the influence of alcohol. But that goal also extended beyond work. I wanted to be someone who didn't rely on external substances and to feel at peace with myself. And that was the real challenge. And it required me to confront the underlying issues that I had been avoiding. And they were stress, anxiety, and self-doubt. When I made the commitment to go back into therapy, rather than relying on a crutch, I started to see some change. It's a process. There are setbacks, and I couldn't say for myself that I was fully committed 100% of the time. I got back into drinking once every a few weeks, and it was hard to get back from there. Every day is a chance to avoid drinking, and I had to take advantage of every single day. One of the tools that helped me through this process, and it still continues to help me, is to write. It sounds simple. It's been repeated every single day with my Instagram and on the website and this YouTube channel, but there's something powerful about filtering what you're thinking about, your wandering thoughts, onto the paper. For me, it became a way to process the emotions and thoughts that I've been avoiding. Instead of drinking to blow them away, I started writing to face them. When I felt overwhelmed, I picked up my 146. It became more than a tool, and when I looked at it, I remember that I have a sort of commitment I need to go back into. There is something about the process of writing that forces you to slow down. I couldn't write so fast like I typed on the computer. I can do 140 words a minute, but when I'm writing, I could do like 10 to 15 on a minute. Every stroke of the pen is very mindful, very demure, as the kids say right now. And in a world where we're constantly being distracted by dopamine hits, I think the practice of intentionally slowing down is invaluable. Journaling helped me understand the underlying causes of my dependence. It wasn't just about work. It was insecurities, it was failure, and I needed to have something to show for myself. And I diverted the rabbit hole from alcohol into fountain pens, I would say. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? If you're someone who's struggling with substance abuse, whether it's alcohol or anything else, you know that there's always a better way forward. It's not easy, but it starts with setting a goal for yourself, something that's bigger than you. Something seems impossible. You have to find out your reason why, and you have to commit to creating real value, not just in your work, but also for the people around you. Journaling is a powerful tool for this process. It helps you confront the emotions and thoughts that you've been avoiding. And if you find joy in these small things, maybe considering picking up a fountain pen. Start writing more and read more. And it will only get better from there. That I can promise you. If you're ready to take that first step, start by setting a goal of doing two things. Just two. Two good things that you can be proud of, telling your younger self that you're able to do today. Write it down. Do it and tick the boxes. And then the next day, do it. Remember, real growth is not just a day of work, it's a lifetime. Thank you guys for watching, and for more articles on the similar topics, writing goods and more, please check out awritingguy.com. And in the pinned comment of this video, there will be discount codes for you guys to use if you decide to get something from the website. And once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.